All right, so y'all, this is part 1 of the Finding Purpose in Parenting series. If you're tuned in now, that means you're here for the beginning. Like, this is the beginning. You ain't missed nothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go through my life. So my name is Kyla Habersham. I am from Brunswick, Georgia. Like I said in my first video, I am the only girl, the baby sister of 5 brothers. I have 3 brothers by 4 brothers from my mom. One of my brothers is like my brother, but not my brother, but he's my brother. So he passed away in a motorcycle accident in 2016. And then I have a brother from my dad. Growing up, I did not grow up in the house with all of my brothers because my oldest brother was 18. He turned 18 right before I was born. My second brother was 16, so he was on the way out the house. So I was there with him for about 2 years because about 18, he was 17, but 18, he was out of there. My other brother, we lived together for a little bit, but he got put out when I ain't gonna say he got put out, but he got sent to his grandma's house when I was like 6 or 7. And no, 5 or 6. And he was in college in 04. So yeah, I was 6. He went to college when I was 7, going on 8. So yeah, everybody, was pretty much at the house, so it was really me and my mama. So growing up, I was a typical little girl, like, early, my dad went to jail, when I was 14 months old. He got a sentence prison of 10 years. It was supposed to be longer, but Barack Obama did some kind of law, appreciate you, my boy, to get him up out of there. So, for a long time, it was just me and my mama. I'm gonna end up saying a lot, and I do apologize for that. But with my brothers was like my best friend, my brother Luscious, and I want y'all to pay attention to every part of the story because I'm telling you, y'all gonna hear these names later. So please pay attention now. But my brother Luscious, that was like my favorite brother. Like, his name was Luscious because we had nicknames for each other. Like, that's my dog. 4L, that's my dog. When we're just gonna start the story from me being little. My mom we're gonna start at about 7, because of course I can't account for every single thing that happened. Now I will say this part: before I turned like 6, I went to a family reunion with my dad's side of the family. Mind you, remember, he was locked up. So my mama sent me with my dad's side of the family. Now, small disclaimer, my mom and my grandma fell out over some tax money. My mama let my grandma file me on her taxes or something like that. My grandma didn't give my mama all her money. So my family says that my dad's side says that they watch me a lot. Like, my cousin said she watched me a lot. But when my mom get in her moods, she be like, ain't nobody fucking watch you. I had you all the time. So I don't really know. But I know when I went to this family reunion, we went on a family reunion on Sapelo Island. And if you are from that area, you have to catch a ferry to get on Sapelo. Nobody was paying me attention at the family reunion. Everybody was with their group. And because my daddy wasn't there and my mom and my grandma had fell out, I ain't been around them folks in a minute. So I don't really know who to be with. And my grandma, she ain't really forget about me, but like, she was like, go with your cousins. My cousins were going on a ferry to go back on the land. I got my chocolate self on the ferry to go back on the land. Now, to my own credit, my aunt that I came with counted us on the ferry. She counted me on the ferry and let me go. But then when we get back on the land and I ain't got no ride and my grandma's on the island and the ferry not coming back till like 6 o'clock or whatever the situation is, everybody looking crazy. How Kyla get over here? Her grandma's on the island. Call her mama. So I ran away once. I ran away as a child, but that was because they wasn't paying me no attention. Like, yeah, cool. Anyway, we go, let's say we go to 7 years old. I become an aunt. My brother on my dad's side has my oldest niece. And that's like, okay, cool, holy grail for me. I've always loved kids. And right after that, my brother Luscious that I just told you about, he had twin nieces and my twin niece and nephew. So cool, like life is going great. So at about, right before I turned 8, my brother and his wife came across some land, and my sister-in-law is very smart. So she rented a house. She bought a house. They bought a house, and we were renting it. Now, my mom's mindset was that when we get older, and this has not, like, this is general, this is everybody. When we get older, she took care of us, so we take care of her. Now listen, remember this mindset. So they get the house, and I'm not sure if my brother was stationed in Virginia then, and then they moved to Virginia or what. I'm not 100% sure. But my brother gets the house. They get the house, and we move into the house. It was a real nice neighborhood. We move in the house. We're living in the house, and of course, I'm a kid. I don't know anything about any kind of, I don't know nothing going on. I don't know bills or nothing. So at this point, I had a friend. We finally moved in the neighborhood where I had some African American friends type thing. Now, mind you, growing up, I didn't talk much. Like, and I say that in a very weird manner because a lot of people seen different versions of me. It would depend on where I was. I had a friend that stayed down the street, and she would, like, her mama, she had an older brother. She was with her mom. Her mom was really sweet. Like, she was really nice. She would cook. Everybody would come to her house. Like, if you came over there, you were good. So we all would go to her house. Cool. We go to her house, and it was spring break, and I just felt like I wasn't, like, when I was growing up, I just felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. Like, I wasn't appreciated there. Like, nah. So when I was around other people, I was real talkative, real loud. Like, I'm woo. But if you went to my mom while she was doing hair when I was little, I'll tell you, I didn't talk. I didn't say nothing. But I didn't realize, like, till I got older and you start realizing, like, where you're comfortable. I didn't realize that I wasn't allowed to talk growing up, right? Boom. So just follow me here. So we get to spring break at my friend's house, and spring break, you out of school for a whole week. So, my mama, we're still staying at the house. We're right down the street, and the girl, she stays right. We're like right here. She stay on one side of the street. We stay on the other side. Sorry, you can't see it, but we're right here. And her mama just had me so welcome. Like, it was like I was her daughter. If I needed anything, she didn't even call my mama and say I needed something. We went to the store and got it. She didn't drive. Her oldest son drive, and she kind of sort of fell in love with my brother. But cause we were just good. Like, I ain't gonna say we were just the best kids, but we weren't no terrible kids. So we were likable children. Like, my brother was like 18, 19. It was his first or second year in college. So he wasn't no child, and he's flirty with the green eyes. So boom, of course. But we were likable people. Like, I was a likable child. So she took care of me. Like, she bought me my first DS system. She bought me my first gold bracelet. She bought me a gold bear bracelet. Like, every charm on it is real gold. It was too heavy for me to wear as a kid. She bought me a ruby necklace with ruby earrings for my birthstone. Like, when I said that lady took care of me, she took care of me. So anyway, I'm at her house for 2 weeks. Now, this is when my mama flipped out a little bit. I'm at her house for 2 weeks. That means through school and everything. I'm walking past my mama's house, going to school. My mama not call her, come home. Like, she didn't call and say nothing. So I'm like, I'm cool. Hey, man, I'm cool. We get a car. I get walked home, and everybody's in a panic mode. Everybody's like, your mama is going crazy. She said you don't love her and you don't want to be here. Da 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 da. You ran away. And I'm just like, what happened? Like, no, my mama hasn't been looking for me. Like, no, I'm right down the street. She told me I could go. She told me she didn't tell me I had to come back home. Like, I've asked. What are y'all talking about? Like, what, huh? So she pulled the mask off. Like, now it's like a panic mode. Cause it's like, the thing you tortured, cool, I'm not here. Like, if you tell somebody for so long that their voice is a problem or their voice is an issue, cool. I don't know how I recognized that as a child, to go where I was welcomed and to go where I was loved. I don't know. But I stayed, like, I was cool there. So we go for it. The people at the church get her to calm down. She calms down. So it's still just me and my mama. So my mama used to drink. And, I told you I had my brother. So my brother that just went to college, one night my mama went crazy. And I called him at college. He was in a college party. It was maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. No 8-year-old should be up. But I called my brother and I was like, bruh, why did you leave me here with her? Like, why did y'all leave me here with her? Like, hey, come pick me up. Like, my brother's literally in the middle of a party. And I'm calling him. My brother bought me my first phone Valentine's Day when I was 7, so 2004. And I'm literally like, why did you leave me here with her? Come get me. She's crazy. She's going crazy. Come get me. Come get me. And he's just like, no, Kylie, you good. Like, chill out, bro. Mama cool. Bro, chill out, chill out. But they didn't believe me. Like, she was really going crazy. Like, I got called a B word in 4th grade. Like, y'all, like, they didn't believe me. Like, she real deal spazzing out on me. And my mama had a problem with me being honest. Like, if I told her the truth about something, or if I told her she was wrong about something, it was an issue. Like, it was instantly like, oh, you think you something. You think you somebody, little B. You think, like, I real deal got called a B word for just telling my mama she was wrong. And I didn't say it with no tone. I vividly remember multiple conversations of just being calm and saying, well, mama, that's not right. Mama, that wasn't right. And she'd go off. Who you talking to? You think you grown. You need to stay in a child's place. You better watch your mouth. Like, I'm telling you, like, this was really going on. So, this is all by 4th grade. This is all by 4th grade. Now, 5th grade, my dad comes home, and the whole time my dad is like, the whole time he's not there, I'm being told that she, like, oh yeah, I'm not your mama for real. Like, you see, we ain't got no pictures together. I'm just watching you till your daddy come home. So the whole, like, my mama don't know, like, the whole time she was saying that, like, I took that. Like, she used to make little jokes like, you don't see how, you not even the same color as me. You don't even look like me. Like, no, I'm just helping your daddy out till your daddy come back home. And a lot of people do that to their kids. Like, a lot of people be like, oh, like the older brothers be like, oh yeah, we adopted you. You're an alien. Like, okay, cool. But my mama's saying that, and she's saying we ain't got no pictures together, and I don't see no pictures from the hospital for real. Like, and because she's an adult, she doesn't understand. In my child mind, I'm taking this in like, oh snap, my daddy left me with a stranger, and she just doing the best she can to get me by, because soon as he get here, he gonna come save me. So sorry, I forgot to tell this part of the story. Before I was born, my mom's mom died, but I seen everybody else have a grandma. So my instant reaction was, I want my grandma. I want my grandma. Like, if my grandma was here, I'd be at my grandma's house. I'm gonna tell my grandma on you. I'm gonna tell your mama. Since I can't talk to you, I'm gonna tell your mama, like, oh God, I'm gonna tell your mama, like, So then when it became close time to my dad coming home, my mom would, like, make me, I say now she was making me bother my daddy, like, torture my daddy. She would make me, everything I told her I wanted for school, she'll let me tell her, and then she'll want me to write my daddy a note in prison and tell him. Then, I don't know if she did this on purpose, but because and this is a part of the story later, she used to give me colored paper to write my dad. But I know now, because of having a boyfriend in jail at one point, if you send anything that's not on white paper, it don't get accepted. So I don't know if she was doing that so that my daddy don't get the letter, or if she was doing that to give me colored paper. Anyway, it was already enough that everything I asked for back to school, she would make me send it to my dad in a prison letter. Like, and tell your daddy. So if you don't get it, your daddy didn't get it. Okay, cool. Got it. So anyway, cool. 5th grade, my dad is coming home. My dad coming home. So it's just like, woo! Party. Like, the savior's coming. Like, the one who left me here with her, he coming back to get me. Boom. So, and I went to see my dad throughout his whole sentence. So I knew my dad. Like, I looked just like my dad. So when she told me that she might not have been my mama, and okay, I look just like him, you can't tell me that ain't me. This his jacket right here. That's twin. Where have you been? All right, boom. So, my dad coming home. My dad coming home. He finna do it. So when my dad came home, my dad was more so, he was already ready to be the parent. He was already ready to be, not even, what's the word I'm looking for? He was already ready to be corrective. Like, he was already ready to be a disciplinary. Like, you want to put your hands on me? Bro, I've been fighting this lady this whole time. You want to put your hands on me? Like, I think the first time I got in trouble, my daddy's first reaction was to raise his hand at me. And my daddy doesn't know that I can't handle screaming. And I've never been able to pinpoint, until Jesus started revealing to me everything going on. I've never been able to pinpoint why you can't holler at me. Never. But when I got older, it was brought to my attention that I was yelled at as a child, like as a baby. I used to be put in a situation where I used to have to make phone calls to men, and if I didn't say something the right way, or if I didn't get, like, ask for money, and if I didn't get the money, I got told off. I got cussed out. I'm talking about, like, I don't think my mama ever was I don't ever remember my mama physically being abusive with me, but it only took me being told that to remember why I closed my mouth. Like, as soon as I was reminded of that, like, no, Kyle, like, and that's why I said in the beginning of the story, there's people alive that could vouch for me, but it's so bad they don't want to remind me of it. Like, if the only reason I can verify this is if I mention a small part of my brain that remembers it, there's people that could be like, you're not wrong, you're not lying, that really did happen. So maybe that it was, like, any of my mama clients could tell you I didn't talk until I got an ear infection. When I was 7, I got an ear infection, and I had to say it was hurting because it was hurting so bad. And that was the first time my mama clients heard me talk. Like, I would have a small, like, I talked to teachers. Anybody that was a teacher, I talked to teachers. But I didn't really talk. Like, no, she ain't really talking above a whisper. So now, before we get to my dad coming home, I did want to say this part, because this part is what'll help. This part will help parents. So before my dad came home, right after my mom said I ran away and went to the lady house, she tried to do this whole thing where, like, we're going to be around each other. Like, we're going to do it. So after she went off on me and I called my brother, and I got called the B word and all that, between the time of that and me finding out my dad was coming home, we had moved to another place. But before we moved to that place, I used to write my mom letters. I used to write my mama letters and tell her, because she had silenced me. Like, me and her, after I realized I talked and I got told off for talking, I stopped talking. But I still had those feelings like, you don't want me here, like you don't love me. I used to write my mama letters, and I couldn't directly give it to my mama. So I used to fold them up and put them in her pillowcase, because my mama always washed her sheets. She always washed her sheets. So I put them in her pillowcase because she was going to have to take the pillowcase and flop it to get the pillow out, and so the letter was gonna fall and she could read it. So I did that for attention from my mama, and my mama ended up taking the letters to a pastor, and she took me to a pastor, and they were gonna do like to me, I always say an exorcism, but they wanted to pray and talk and sit in the back of the beauty salon and knock me out, kind of thing. Like, let's do this. And it was like, my mom, I felt like my mama thought I had demons on me or something. It's like, bro, I want attention. I feel like you don't want me here. And so I remember, and it's crazy, it just came to my mind. My mama literally said, oh yeah, she thinks she's somebody walk around putting notes in my pillow. Who she thinks she is? And I was just like, okay, another attempt of me trying to talk to you and nothing. Cool. So now we get to my dad coming home. The whole time I'm looking for my grandma, she's not here. So I can't tell on my grandma. I can't tell my grandma and my mama. I can't tell nobody what's going on. Like, nobody listening to me. So, cool. My daddy come home. I'm going to tell my daddy. Now, my daddy came home trying to be a disciplinary and trying to be like trying to be the provider of the house. Like, taking care of stuff. Like, he didn't come home with an open ear, like, hey, how have you been mentally? Like, those was not questions you asking no 8, 9, 10-year-old right now. I was 10 when my dad came home, so that's not what you really don't think to be asking a 10-year-old, like, what did you go through? You don't think that. So my dad never went back and looked at it, and I was defensive of my mom because she had built that wall, like, not built that wall, but it was built that, like, that's who take care of me. So no matter what, you won't talk about her. Like, she might be a terrible person. And my dad said that all the time. What your mama do to you? You always defending her. But it's like, that's who provided for me. Like, so that's why I say it in a way, like, I'm not saying none of this to bash my mama. Like, that's who provided for me. But in real life, that's what she felt like her job was, to provide, and that's it. Like, provide. You have a house over your head, and I think our water only got cut off one time. So you got everything, like, you're sufficient. That's it. Like, Now, don't have no opinion. Don't have nothing to say. Don't do none of that. No. So, I came home thinking like, okay, I could talk to my daddy and I could tell my dad. But my dad worked at the port and he had to get his 400 hours so he could. So my dad was always at work. So we went through the motions of, me and my dad having our moment. Then my dad started realizing like, you can't holler at that girl. Because my dad talks. My dad's from the country. So my dad talks loud. So him talking would make me cry. Like, you talking too loud. And so you hurt my feelings. So I'm crying like, all I got is my feelings, and I always was wrong for my feelings as well growing up. Like, you cry too much, you doing too much, you too emotional. And everybody always wrapped it up and said, well, Kyla, your mama don't know how to raise you because she raised 3 boys, so she raised you real tough. That's all that is. But to have your emotions dismissed, it makes you look for people that don't dismiss your emotions. Or it makes you look for people that cherish what you're saying, that pay attention to what you're saying, stuff like that. So, I'm sorry, I just went blank. I just seen a man open the door for his wife and that was or girlfriend. It was so cute. But so yeah, like I'm used to people not listening to what I'm saying. Like okay, cool. Like that's what that was. So when my dad came home, I'm thinking like, okay, he finna listen. No, he didn't have time to listen. He had to go get his money together and get his badges and all that stuff. So time goes by and my mom and my dad, I wouldn't say they're together, but I wouldn't say they're apart. Like, he still lived there. My mama still had her little stuff going. My dad still had his little stuff going. So, we go out of town to visit my aunt. And all of my aunts came down. My mom has 3 or 4 sisters. I'm not exactly sure. I don't really know. Not no time to do that. But, I think it's just 3. But we all met at my aunt's house. And one of my aunts lived in Maryland. And I was like, I want to go to Maryland. I ain't have enough clothes to go. She said she was gonna buy me some more clothes, and so I was out the door. I didn't want to go back home. Like, we had to move. We had moved to another house, and we lived together for a minute. But I didn't want to go back home. Like, I was aware of what was going on. Like, I knew my mama had some other stuff going. I knew my daddy had some other stuff going, and it was my summer break anyway. Get me up out of here. So I went to Maryland with my cousins, and only reason I'm telling the part of this story is because when I came back home. When I left, my mom and my daddy was together. When I came back home, nothing. They got into an argument the day I came back home and my mom put my daddy out. So, to me, for a long time, it was like, dang, I came home and they broke up. Like, I came back home and caused the problem and they broke up. Like, everything broke loose the day I came back home. And it was a long time for me to get home. Like, a lot of... Jesus Christ. So growing up, I was just, I was a normal kid. Like, I was just a normal kid, but I had different, like, everybody had their own thing when it came to me. Like, I ain't gonna say I just felt like everybody treated me any kind of way, but everybody had their own love. So when I went to Maryland with my aunt, I went there with my aunt, but nobody wanted to take me home. Nobody wanted to take me back home. So I felt like I was creating problems because nobody wanted to come get me. Nobody wanted to take me back home, and then nobody wanted to come get me. So I ended up staying with a lady who has the same name as my mama, Miss Belinda, in Griffin, in the back of somewhere. She had a daughter that went to Fort Valley State University. And I don't remember her name, but she gave me a bag of clothes because my aunt never took me to get more clothes. And I was with my aunt for almost a month at this point. I had 3 outfits and like 2 pair of underwear. My auntie never took me to get more clothes. My mama sent money. I never went to go get more clothes. She made me wash my underwear in the sink and hang them up every night. I never went to go get more clothes. Oh God, I swear to God, I never went to get more clothes. So I had that one same bag of clothes when I went to Miss Belinda. And Miss Belinda was like, baby, you ain't got no clothes? All my aunts have passed me off to a random lady. I got 2 aunts that live in Griffin, Jonesboro. I got 2 aunts that live there. I got passed off to a lady that I'm thankful for because she gave me a bag of clothes. I can remember now sleeping in her room and just watching TV, just, chilling. But my mama never met this lady, but I was there. I stayed with her for a minute, and then I came back home. So I'm like, dang, I done caused all this issues coming back home, and now my mom and my daddy done broke up. Like I done caused havoc on the family trying to get back home, and now I'm home, and now I done caused havoc on another family. So cool, like that, got it. Problem. I'm the problem here. So by this time I'm in like 6th, 7th grade, and that's the end of this video, getting to 6th and 7th grade. So we are going to we're gonna say I was 12, 13 years old. In 6th grade I went to a regular middle school, like a regular public middle school. And then 7th grade I went to a private early college academy. When I got to the early college academy, you know, my mom and my dad were separated, but my dad was still at everything. You know, my mama was still my mama, but she had more time to send me with my dad then, because I think my dad had done finally, if he wasn't settled by this point at a little house, he was either at my, I don't know, but me and I don't remember too much of us having a problem right there. Like 6th, 7th grade, it wasn't, I can't remember too much of life being life there. Like I just remember 6th and 7th grade, and I remember 7th grade going to the private school, and I didn't want to go. Excuse me, but my mom made me go, and I mean, it was a good start. So we're gonna end the video here. I know that there was a lot of information in this video, and you probably like, girl, how much more could you have to tell? But you see, it took 26 minutes just to get to 7th grade. Just to get to 7th grade. And again, I am not telling none of these stories. Like, I promise you that there's so many more stories that I could put in just so y'all could see that I'm not being dramatic. I just like, Jesus just happened to keep me in all of this, like keep me standing and keep me with a happy heart through all. Like, some of these stories people have no idea, like no idea, no clue, like not nothing. Just this part of the story, y'all probably like, oh my God, and other people are probably gonna be worse. So I just want y'all to make sure you tune in now while we're early in the story. Make sure you share this with your friends, with your family, because this is finna get juicy. We only at 7th grade. We haven't made it to most of my adolescent stage yet. I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and make sure you tune into the next video.